Okay. I'll just start with this. I'm glad I decided not to watch this movie. I'm not even going to bother watching on demand or anything like that. I'm done. I'm done. Yo, like I said in the previous videos, the only hope that Marvel has from me is Ant-Man. And the way things are looking, that just might be the very last Marvel movie I ever watch. Here we go.
Absolutely shit. Black Panther 2 has no real story, just a bunch of events happening one after another, carrying almost no weight and impact to either the characters or the plot. Wakanda Forever manages to somehow be both incredibly long and rushed as well, with most of the scenes dragging on way longer than they needed to be, giving anyone a fucking headache who is trying to pay attention, and it leaves you with a horrible feeling when you exit the cinema.
Felt like I'd been rammed in the arse by a horse.
This movie is both incredibly racist, not just with tons of fuck white people moments, calling them racial slurs like colonizer, but we also see that black people cannot swim. There are a lot of fatherless kids in Wakanda, and scenes like this.
Yo, I heard that there's a lot of parallels to certain insults that we normally have amongst each other, like just being shown in this movie, and it just went over people's heads. Yo, all these people, all these fans just to be fans, the wokies, yeah, they want to be all woke and everything's race this and race that. Yet you're gonna miss this. Like, think who if you think who the hero, I mean not the villain of this film is. What is he? Where is he coming from? You know, I'll let him do the work, yo, because this shit is funny. Let me stop.
We also see that Namor, the Hispanic man, sneaks across the border into Wakanda illegally, and we see the Wakandans treat anyone who isn't black like they're the shit on their shoe, and hold everyone else to a standard that they themselves don't live up to.
Ironic.
There's also barely any good male characters in this film, and the ones that are there are either outright villains or so incompetent and weak that they basically have been castrated. Because there's no fucking way they would allow a man to upstage their female characters by having a personality. It's why M'Baku is barely in the movie despite being more likeable than these two planks of wood. Wakanda Forever is also very exploitative on using the death of Chadwick Boseman. The way it's portrayed is not very respectful, and how T'Challa dies in the film is basically how the actor died in real life, which is manipulative.
Okay. Like, this has been said before. I don't know if I've said it before, but I was thinking the same thing, but I know it's been said before. The way he went out is it wasn't a heroic death, man. It wasn't something, he didn't go out in a blaze of glory for the people, make a huge sacrifice, nothing like that. The dude just went out the way the actor did in this film. Just, and like, there's no excuse for this. There's no excuse for this because they have alien technology at this point. You know, they could have just frozen to or kept them in suspended animation until a cure came. Like, that just, I mean, didn't they do the same? I think even this guy mentioned it. Didn't they do the same for Winter Soldier? Didn't they have him on sleep? Like, I don't know, yo. That's how you know it's an agenda. There's ways, you know. As a writer, I would have made sure he was safe at least until the studio could find something to do when coming to finding a replacement actor or something like that. That's how you know. That already tells you this is some agenda bullshit, because it's the ways you could have gone around this and still made this. You could have still made this movie and kept him alive. This, yo. Y'all playing, all y'all playing.
As fuck, but Ryan Coogler is a piece of shit who doesn't give a fuck as long as he gets paid. The costumes of all the characters looks god fucking awful. The CGI looks like it was made on a PlayStation 2, and the editing is choppy as fuck, with obvious reshoots clumsily spliced together with the original footage, which even a blind man can see. Well, at least the characters are enjoyable.
Right? Wrong.
Shuri's entire character arc is to become Black Panther, and this only happens in the last 10 minutes of the movie. For the rest of it, she is dull as fuck and looks as bored as I am to everything happening around her. Also, Letitia Wright is so tiny and small, she looks like a breeze would knock her over, so her taking on men 3 times her size just looks silly. Riri Williams is a completely unnecessary character and
Well, I'll let that part slide since you know, technology and all, the suit and the stuff on the flower that gives you the abilities. So I'll let that part slide. But I get it. I get what he's saying. But at least there's a cheat here. Could get away with that. Here comes our favorite.
is only there to promote the Iron Heart series and to replace Tony Stark. She is nothing more than a plot device. You could easily cut her out of the film and it wouldn't make any difference, except save us from watching an insufferable bitch who murders innocent police officers and the film just glosses over it. Her and Shuri are the exact same character. They are both teenage super geniuses that are amazing at everything they do.
I said that. I said that. What's the point? She's already a genius and she's the hero of the movie. What do you need this thing for? What do you need her for? This discount Iron Man, what do you need her for? No reason to be in the movie. None. Easily could have wrote this movie without her. This is, oh God. How are people not seeing what's wrong here, yo? I love the way this guy breaks this shit down. It's fucking hilarious. It's blunt.
Last but not least is Race Swap Namor, who is the exact same villain as Killmonger. They are both genociders who want to kill innocent people for retarded reasons. And the way Namor goes about it is so fucking stupid. I had a headache from watching this moron spout off his plans.
Even though that's true, still, Killmonger was right. I'm dug into that. Killmonger was right. He wasn't right for killing innocents and shit. That part was wrong. But the points he made just destroyed the logic of Wakanda's rules and all that. It just destroyed it. Especially when it came to, especially in the end when he said, bury me in the, or what do you say? Put my body in the water or something like that. So I could be with the my ancestors who decided to jump off the boat. Like when I say he's right, that's what I'm talking about. At least he was right, yo. And that would have been that would have been amazing to see. Like, imagine in the next film, if not this one, the one that follows, if they ended up replacing Chadwick, right? Imagine that replaying in T'Challa's head, right? Thinking about how things were and how things can change. The conflict that he'll have in order to, to adjust to being a leader or to be a better leader. Like, do I consider doing things this way? Should I have more pride in my people? Should I be more careful with opening everything with this place to the world when there's threats we have to deal with? Should I have an understanding of as to why other countries function this way? And as a good leader, you find a way, right? It would have been an amazing story to see that part of his journey amongst whatever else they wanted to throw in, bad guy wise or, story wise. All that's gone, I wanted to know where he would have taken that, especially after the end when they decided, okay, we're going to open it up.
Because they are that stupid. Namor will go on to join Marvel's enormous list of villains that no one will remember in a few months' time. With all that said and done, let's summarise the plot and see how they made a nearly 3-hour movie with almost no story. We start off with Shuri trying to make a vibranium flower to cure her brother, but she can't do it for some reason. Well, I guess vibranium can literally do anything else except cure T'Challa, who is dying from a disease. It's not explained what the disease is, but it's Africa, so I can make a guess.
Everyone has AIDS!
Somehow his Black Panther powers have just disappeared, and the Wakandans just forget
Yo! I'm sorry. That shit was hilarious. Oh my God. So you can't, I get, it was wrong, but it was fucking funny. You can't deny that, right? But for real, this magical potion, like you can't cure some bullshit disease. And again, like I was saying, look at this right here. Look at this right here. You suspended animation until you get, what countdown, What countdown we got to rush a cure for when you could just suspended animation. Look at this.
Puts him into stasis like they did for Winter Soldier, so he dies. They then have a toilet paper themed funeral, and his coffin is taken away by a spaceship using tractor beams because Wakanda has Star Wars level technology now.
If they do,
a year
you
later,
can't
at the
cure
UN
it.
summit, Wakanda has completely ignored T'Challa's promise to help the rest of the world because
that
fuck
right?
T'Challa, I guess. We see that the
Is
Queen
that
is
right?
being questioned by the UN. Wait, why is she the Queen when Wakanda chooses its royalty by people fighting over a waterfall? I guess they realised how retarded that was and chose to forget about it. The Queen goes on to say that they will never let outside.
That part's subjective, but at the same time, yo, fuck T'Challa for real. Y'all went and undid what he was. Yo, is that you see? And that's the other thing. You have to, like, how'd she get that mantle? Did she defeat anyone in that movie to become the next? I get they're in a dire situation, so she had to jump in the suit and do what they had to do because it's an immediate threat. But after all that's over, did they have some sort of ceremony? Like, yo, let's lock this in, Shuri. Let's lock this in. You gotta fight somebody for this mantle, straight up. Or did they decide not to do it? No, it's custom because remember how hard, they went in hard. They were hard body about the rules. They went in like, no, you have to do it. Accept the child. Yo, you have to. But let's throw that away for the sake of woman power. God help him.
Spiders get vibranium, not because it's dangerous, but because they are.
Bullshit.
You're the fucking idiots who allowed a genocidal racist to become king and almost kill a bunch of innocent people. And you retards have the balls to lecture everybody else on how they should run their countries.
Well, who the hell are you to talk down to anyone?
We cut to a Wakandan outreach centre in the middle of Mali, and a bunch of soldiers raid the base. They get the researcher to open up a sealed door, and when they do, a bunch of bald women just come out.
Why?
They somehow beat all of the soldiers, and we even see them block bullets with a spear. After the retarded fight scene ends, we see the captured soldiers being paraded in front of the UN, where Wakanda basically takes over the entire building, and no one tells them no, as they can do whatever the fuck they want. The next scene is a deep ocean research base in the Atlantic Ocean.
I just want to know, would T'Challa get away with that? Killmonger maybe, but would T'Challa get away with that? I don't know. I don't think he'd even... I can't imagine him doing something like that. He lets people dig their own grave. As we saw, like, in the end of Civil War. When it came to... What was his name again? Baron Zemo. So... God, like they just they just upended everything, for the sake of the agenda, the message, the wokeism. Like nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense. Nothing. There's no. What respect are you showing to Chadwick? What respect are you showing to the character by doing that? Like, where's the respect? Nothing lines up with what he would do. If he was in this film, if nothing happened to Chadwick, that's so against his character. But you have these, oh man. All right.
Ocean that is looking for vibranium using a vibranium detector. The divers are killed and the Atlanteans use a siren's call to lure people off the ship and drown them in the sea. This is the first and last time they use this because the Atlanteans are fucking retarded, as they would easily win the final battle of the movie. The blue people then go on to kill everyone else on the boat. We cut back to Wakanda and we see that the Queen is returning to her country and crossing the border. So how does the border controls work in Wakanda? Well, all the black people have to do is use a DJ set and some bongo drums to open up an energy wall.
Racist? Yo, I didn't even know that. Was that in the first movie? Because I can't remember. Is that how they opened it? And if so, I guess I was one of those people that just missed the racism. Thanks, Disney.
The Queen talks to Shuri and wants her to be Black Panther, but Shuri doesn't want to for some reason. So the Queen wants her and Shuri to randomly drive out into the middle of nowhere. Why does she want this? Well, it's so they can bump into Namor later on as he sneaks over the border. How did Namor get past the energy barrier that we saw before? Does it only stop above the water? Because if it does, that's one fucking useless barrier. Also, how can Namor reach Wakanda when the country itself is landlocked from the ocean? And how...
Son. I couldn't get away. Yeah, I could not get away with that as a writer. I could not get away with that. Like, did anyone review? Did anyone review the script? Or review the movie or the locations? What the... You can't... Nah. How they explain? They didn't even explain that, did they? Whoever... Y'all watch this? Y'all watch this? Yo, these are legit reasons not to like the movie. So you can't say nobody's hating on anything. You know? I get this guy, he's... Yo, he's going a little far with these jokes, but at the same time, yo, he ain't wrong, yo. What the... There's no lot... You can't do that. And as a student of film, I see this, I dare somebody to get on me about my criticism of that. That makes no sense. I would not get away with that. As a writer, you don't get away, but I wonder, they don't hire anyone qualified for these things anymore, so, right? Try to win an argument with me when it comes to script writing.
Exactly did Namor know that both the Queen and Shuri would be here alone with no guards?
I don't know.
Namor introduces himself.
My people call me Kung
and wants Wakanda's help to...
Tell me it doesn't... Yo. Tell me it doesn't look... Yo, okay. Tell me it doesn't sound like that, though. When you think about it, it's like... You know how Disney, they're known for like subliminal shit? Right? Like there's not, at this point everybody's seen that, right? They've seen everything from the castles in The Little Mermaid to Minnie's Puff. Like we've seen this, right? Like what are they doing? They won't stop. I'm telling you. Oh. Justify this. Say this is a coincidence. I dare you, yo. None of this is okay. But just because it's a black superhero, you're letting this slide, not knowing. Look what they're knocking down your black superhero right now. And just because they use his parents and a certain actors playing her, like I can differentiate because everybody knows I love Angela Bassett, right? But that's the actress. But what they're doing here with her character is fucked up. I can realize that. I can get that. Right? And have you heard what she had to say about the script? About what happened, that she didn't know what she was walking into in certain parts, about what happens in to her character and shit like that. She was disappointed. She didn't want that to happen. She had questions. So we can't, as the viewers, as the fans. I dare you, Wokies. Yo, let's go.
To stop people looking for the vibranium, which is under his home, and he blames T'Challa as the reason why they are being exposed to the outside world, as he introduced the world to vibranium. So everything in this movie is T'Challa's fault. What a massive fuck you to Chadwick Boseman when this is supposed to be a tribute to him.
You do not sneak into my country and tell me what is fair.
I find it funny how the Queen's stance on illegal immigration doesn't give her a certain label, which she would be called if she just looked different. Namor threatens that if they don't help him, he'll attack Wakanda. Later on, M'Baku walks into the throne room and has an argument with Michonne. See what I mean about this movie being racist? What the fuck has that person got on his lip? Well, I looked it up, and in Africa, it's supposed to be used exclusively on women before they are married off to their husbands. Ryan Coogler couldn't be fucking bothered to do the bare minimum research for his job, the lazy bastard.
That's to show you. That's to show you. When these people are always preaching inclusion and inclusivity and all this, and the feminism and black this, like you have to say, like, do you really care when shit like this is all in your face? Like, there's no... Do you not research this? Do you really care? Because if you cared, you would have researched this to see how this tradition is. Who does this? Right? Well, we're at a place, right, where, you know, we don't even refer to Africans based on the country they're from, but we could do that with everyone else, right? So nobody really cares about cultures. If people had some respect, they would say, oh, you're Kenyan, right? Or if you happen to be a descendant of a Kenyan and you happen to be born in America, nobody's saying Kenyan American or Nigerian American or Ghanaian American or nothing like that, or just straight up from that country. Nobody says that. Probably they do, but we don't have that respect. Why don't you point these things out? That would be nice to see in media, so we could, since y'all like using media to change people's minds and skew people's minds, how about using it to teach, right? And say, well, this is a Ghanaian American, this is a, or Wakandan American, like, you know, but they're gonna say African for everything. We're already detached. Like, nobody really cares, because if black people cared, it's the wokey black people, the far leftist ones that cheer this shit on despite all the fuckery going on. Like, they don't care. They're not paying attention to this shit. They're not teaching us this shit. It's all about brownie points and wanting to be part of something, and you're not doing it legitimately. You just want to feel like you're fighting against something where you don't even understand and you don't even know who the real enemy is. That's why you're giving Disney all this money. I was going to say something, but nah, this ain't it. This ain't it. This ain't the place.
Discuss whether to kidnap the American scientist who built the vibranium detector for Namor, knowing full well he wants to kill her, which they seriously consider doing, with M'Baku being the only person in the room who acts like a sane individual and says that giving in to a
So they seriously consider doing that. Again, can you imagine T'Challa doing that? Making that decision? If somebody suggested that, he'd be like, what the no, well, let's find out who this is. And either protect her or find out what's going on, get her arrested, whomever, whatever we gotta do. Let's do this right. I can imagine T'Challa doing this, but I haven't seen this movie, so is that true? That they consider killing? Yo, okay, without investigating, what's up? What's going on? That's your first move.
blackmailer will only make him demand more.
Thank you!
The Queen agrees to let Michonne take the princess and to abduct an American citizen because Wakanda can do whatever they want and silly things like international law don't apply to them. Shuri then says this.
When are we leaving so I can see my favorite colonizer?
So it's confirmed that Shuri is a racist and a cunt as well. They meet up with Martin Freeman and want to know who the scientist is.
You owe me, Ross. You owe my brother.
Remember in the first movie when Martin saved the life of a Wakandan woman and they debated leaving him to die rather than taking the minimal effort it took them to save his life? Or how he helped stop a genocidal maniac who was trying to start World War III? He doesn't owe you shit, you owe him, you dumb cunt. Martin Freeman just betrays his country and he tells them that the scientist is Riri Williams, who we see is in college.
I feel like this is how they do it, yo. This is how they do it. They want to push the whole racism thing when it comes to, like, they call him colonizer and all that stuff, right? No respect. But at the same time, you see what they're doing? This is where that whole ally thing comes from when it comes to our marches for BLM and all that stuff. Now, let's an ally so we can let them slide. This is how they get you, right? So you see how they put this in a film. So you see, there's some good white people, right? They'll help us. They're on our side. They think the same way while berating them at the same time, right? They come and help you. And this is showing like these are the ones that'll help you. These are the ones you can let in. And in turn, when you do that, you get in real life, right? The ones that are brainwashed, or you're allowing there to be. You're opening the door for agents to come in and fuck up whatever you're running. Fuck up everything you're trying to do. Right? So that's why they saying that, because you should have been all like, this is the whole, even remember the first movie, black this, black that, black, you know. And I said in my first Black Panther video, if you were serious about this, you would have gone milestone. Like, you would be petitioning DC to make a Static movie, because that whole thing is all black, from writers to artists to everything black, right? Dwayne McDuffie, we don't hear his name in the mainstream, right? But we're hearing Stan Lee. So why not? Why couldn't the agent that's doing this for you, why did it have to be Ross? Why couldn't it be some other guy you just made up that happens to be black? This is all that I'm telling you, yo, this is that subliminal shit that they got you doing. And y'all falling for it hard. And at the same time, they're berating the white, so they, to give them some sort of complex, as if they're right in what they do. Because see, he ain't saying shit back. He just roll his eyes, but still do what you do. That's what gives these protesters and shit the balls to say what they want and do what they want to people, thinking that's gonna help the situation, right? Because this is why you can't, like, that guy could have all the sense in the world, right, and say things that make sense, but they will berate him. And, we're rooting on these types, these people, the T'Challa family, right? We're rooting on them. So no matter what, we're going to be on their side. So that's going to blind you from the facts he might try to spit it. And this is what happens in real life. So people like me, or anyone who has anything to say about this movie, even though as legit as these criticisms are, we can't say it without hearing some wokey say something to us. We'll be talking about legit issues of this film, the legit agenda that's being pushed against this, our color, blind to it, yo. They're just gonna stay there and call you names, saying, oh, you're a race traitor. And it's like, well, who's about the race, yo? I'm telling you, make an all black movie. I'm telling you, stop with this shit. Stop with the racist shit. Stop with the woke and shit, and have these writers at least make sense, right? You're making us look incompetent right now. But no, because we don't like what you like, and these are your heroes, and your friend might say something. Nah, I don't want to hear it.
What? Riri is supposed to be the smartest person on Earth and created a one-of-a-kind machine. Then why the fuck is she in college? No one is as smart as her, so how the fuck are the teachers going to mark her work? It's like trying to grade Sir Isaac Newton.
Yeah, I gotta go back a bit. Pay attention to this. Make this make sense. This is why she does. What's the point of her being in this movie? Right? And this is something that's common these days with films or TV shows that has this agenda behind it. Okay? There was a time, you think about these things, it was like those bootleg sci-fi movies that used to come out back in the day. I think they still come out though. But that was the line. Now we seen that carrying over to mainstream films, blockbuster films, and all that shit, and we have to, like, this does not make sense. Pay attention to this.
What? Riri is supposed to be the smartest person on Earth and created a one-of-a-kind machine. Then why the fuck is she in college? No one is as smart as her, so how the fuck are the teachers going to mark her work? It's like trying to grade Sir Isaac Newton or Albert Einstein. Nobody would have a clue if their work was right or wrong. Also, Riri is supposed to be...
Paying attention? You paying attention? Why is she in school? Like, why isn't she, like, working for some industry or running shit right now with a mind like hers? Right? Kind of like what Shuri's doing in Wakanda right now. What's stopping her? Guess what they gotta use? Guess what they gotta use? Yo, a race? She's black? That's why? That's what they'll do. And make it seem like, right? And screw your mind. And make it seem like we can't do anything because of this color. That's what it is. So that's what's going to run in your head. That's going to discourage people from even fucking trying. And they'll have to do things the wrong way in order to get somewhere in life. Whereas she could have used her skills. She could have, she talked to the right people, go to have a mentor, family, mother and father, and know how to legally do this. Because let's say she had these barriers that's stopping her. She could make this public. Look at today, yo. I'm online. She could do that. She'd be like, look, I'm a genius. I can make this, that, and the other, and they're stopping me. They could do something about this. Or if not, this will be recognized. No matter the skin color. It's not everybody that runs shit is going to look at your skin color and be like, what you just build? Work for us, yo. They're going to be fighting. They're going to be fighting each other for you. But pretend that doesn't exist. For the sake of this useless character and the sake of this whole agenda thing, just to screw your mind to think you can't do anything. You can't thrive in this world because of your skin color. Like, I would never see I've never lived life like that. I've been in racist situations, but that's never discouraged me from doing what I had to do. That does not change my outlook. Like, I can't become somebody. But this is what they do, and this is what, like, you can't talk to anybody without them saying, "Yeah, I would have done that, but racism." Shut the fuck up, yo. Make that stop. You just shitting. You're pissing on people's graves right now that fought for you to think this is a case today, or at least for you to think that you can't overcome this shit. Impossible. Yo, I said this before, yo. What king you know is oppressed? All right, kings and queens, but you're oppressed, and you want to act like it. Thought you were rulers. Look how the mother is acting in this. Where's that attitude? You can recognize that in this film, but you're not going to implement it because I'm telling you, it's pure chaos in your minds. Say something.
Be a genius, and yet she made the retarded decision to get into a massive amount of student debt for a degree that she doesn't even need.
You fucking idiot!
How are you not selling shit? How are you not at some store, like working in an electronics store? At least have your own online business. This today's age, yo. This takes place in like modern day, if not 5 years later of the snapshot. You mean you don't, especially where you're doing advanced electronics, like Tony Stark level shit, you can't sell this in the street? Or your dorm mate, like, yo, make this make sense. You can't. These writers are fucking, yo.
We enter Riri's room and she says that she invented the vibranium detector just for a school project and only in a few months. So Riri built this machine all by herself and in an impossible time frame.
Bullshit.
As they try to snatch her, Michonne says this.
I just see that's movie logic.
After witnessing some more awful Marvel humour, they leave for Riri's warehouse because every college student owns enormous real estate. They are then surrounded by the authorities.
You got that whole
Why?
warehouse.
Who knows? It's never.
But you're in debt? Yo, son, come on. Be real here, people. I'm sorry. Yeah, like, this is crazy. Like, you could break down movies and be like, yeah, that doesn't make sense, but this is non-stop. This is not some cheap sci-fi movie on a Saturday. This is big budget Marvel. It's supposed to be paying. How much you're paying these writers? For real. What is happening? Nothing's logical. Nothing makes sense. And everything is like turning what we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be a love letter to Chadwick Boseman. Don't put his name in his title, yo. Don't do that.
Explained. As they try to leave, Riri makes an interesting comment.
There's an entire YouTube channel dedicated to signing to me.
I'm guessing that this is based on the backlash to Ironheart replacing Iron Man, and the fact that Riri Williams in the comics is financial poison. Way to show off that it does.
Y'all know that? Or you just know that she exists in comics? Do y'all know how it's performing? Do you know nobody's interested? Nobody's interested? I was there, yo. I went to that Comic-Con when they were announcing this. One day I should post the fucking pictures and footage. Because I have some from, if you go way back to my earlier videos, I have when I went. But I didn't post that. I gotta find those. I had to find those photos and videos. Because I was at that panel when they were talking about doing this. Like, so it was before this started. Before this wokeism started, this was when they announced it. At the comic book panel. It was like a whole bunch of influencers of color talking about the new shit that's coming on, all the race swapping and the gender swapping and all that stuff. I was there. And I saw it come to fruition as the years went by, and it's hitting hard now. They admitted they were doing this. So it ain't, this you can't get me. Like, this is wrong. This is wrong. Did you know that she sucks? Did you know no one's interested? Nobody. Everything they said was wrong financially. Everything they produced was wrong financially, but they still pushed it into the films. That, well, what did that do? To have the same people that just agree with you parrot this, as if you guys are just allowed the mic, because the people the majority, the silent majority who do not like this, and they're not silent on purpose. A lot of them aren't silent on purpose. They're silent because you won't let them talk. You won't let them legitimately break down shit like this that's in the comics. That makes no sense. The writing is terrible. Like, yo, it does. These comics today, yo, they're just so bad. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. There's always these woke characters, and what they're doing to the traditional characters too. How they write in them. They cutting the balls off of the men and all that stuff. Yo.
Doesn't bother you by commenting about it in a movie with a budget of $250 million, you sure showed them. The agents attack and we see the prototype Iron Man suit that she has built with a fully functional arc reactor. How did she manage to make this? Tony had to make a new element and use $1 trillion company's worth of resources to make it happen.
That doesn't make sense.
They all take off in separate vehicles and we see Riri flying high above the clouds, wearing only a pair of goggles for protection. Remember in Iron Man, when Tony flew the suit for the first time, he not only had to deal with a lack of oxygen, but also the freezing cold as well. That's why his suit is a sealed container. Well,
need I say more? Need I say more? You see this lazy writing? You see it's just about who they hiring is just, you just have to think a certain way. That's how you get a you get a job in that writer's room, son. Because what? Will you forget? Do you review these movies? Yo, do you review? Holy shit. What again? What is happening? This is unreal. And people enjoyed. Oh, who enjoyed this movie? This makes. What has happened? Yo, he almost crashed to his death in that first movie because he went too high. The air was thin and started to freeze. This chick has hardly anything on but boosters on her armor. Like, no, hardly any armor, just boosters all around her, just rockets. And she's going that high in the air. Logic is gone. I'm telling you, I dare you to say something good about this movie. Just do it. At first, I was only talking about the Riri parts. I know this is a Riri part, but everything I've said so far, everything this dude Reaper has brought forth, make this make sense. Because if you try to justify this, yo, you're just showing who you really are. You're showing you really don't care. Stick to fan fiction if this is what you want.
Riri doesn't have to deal with those things because she's amazing. Riri shoots down a drone which lands on a bunch of police officers who are only doing their job. We've only known Riri for 10 minutes and she's a murderer. They are then ambushed by a bunch of Atlanteans who are wearing masks, probably because these superheroes are scared of getting the Kung Flu. We then see a badly choreographed fight scene where people use their spears as swords.
I gotta use that.
Here we learn that the blue people can shrug off a stab wound through the torso. Remember that because they don't later on. Why do the blue people have water bombs if they are isolationists and stay underwater all of their lives? Wouldn't they be about as useful as using a blow dryer on someone? The whole goal of the blue people is to kill Riri Williams, which they do not do. Instead, they kidnap her and Shuri as well.
Why?
Michonne teleports back to Wakanda and the Queen kicks her out of the Bald Women Club and she cries.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're crying like a woman.
I forgot to mention that Shuri has a Jarvis knockoff who is capable of tracking her beads, but only after her daughter, the last heir to the throne, has been missing for at least a day does she finally decide to check.
You are stupid.
So why did they wait a whole day? The real reason they waited so long is because they needed Martin Freeman to show up and smuggle away evidence from the crime scene. Martin Freeman is just a Wakandan spy at this point, except he's treated with very little respect. The Queen goes to Haiti and meets T'Challa's girlfriend, who she believes can help find Shuri. So how does this Master of Disguise try to find Shuri? By going to a random Mexican village dressed like this. And the very first person she meets tells her about Namor.
Do you realize how retarded that sounds?
We cut to Atlantis,
That
and for
easy,
some
huh?
reason there's a massive air pocket in the ocean they live in. Namor decides to tell Shuri his entire backstory for no reason. Well, it turns out that his tribe found a bullshit vibranium flower that turns them all blue, and they fled into the ocean to build a city because of the Spanish. After his mother dies, she wants to be buried on land, and as he takes her body to the shore, he accidentally wanders into a slave camp and kills all the white people. After this pointless backstory is over with, Shuri wants to see the rest of Atlantis, and luckily Namor has a fully functional high-tech scuba suit that she can use, even though everyone in Atlantis doesn't need one. That
Did he
is
just
the
build
exact
that?
same as having a spacesuit in your cupboard. Namor then
Yeah.
tells Shuri his plans, that he wants to murder all of the people on the surface, and he wants Shuri's help because they are alike, as they are both racist societies. He then gives her his mother's bracelet, which he has held onto for hundreds of years. He does this for no other reason than the plot needs her to have it later on. T'Challa's ex tracks down Shuri through her earrings, and somehow manages to get to the bottom of the ocean and into Namor's palace very easily, and
kinda
rescues the
dry.
pair of them with almost no effort. We cut to Martin Freeman, who continues to go full turncoat and informs the Queen that the Americans want to attack Wakanda because they keep breaking every fucking country's laws. Shuri and Riri return to Wakanda just in
But-
time for Namor to invade.
But the world's supposed to respect yours. Right? The world's supposed to respect yours, but you're doing some Killmonger shit, though. Yo, I'm glad. Imagine if I was in the cinema watching this shit. I would, probably be the only black person in there, the only angry black person in there, because everybody's washing the balls of this movie for no reason, and the disrespect to Chadwick, is insane, to the character. Fuck out of here.
He floods the city because he knows that Wakandans can't swim, and a big CGI fight breaks out, and somehow M'Baku doesn't die from this punch. Namor then goes on to kill the Queen with water bombs, and after having easily beaten Wakanda and killed its monarch with only a handful of men, he suddenly decides to give them a week to join him and just leaves.
I have a few questions.
1. If Wakanda is this easy to beat, then why do you even need them? 2. Why would they join you after you just killed their queen and sacked their city? 3. Why does this dumb fuck not check to see if Riri Williams is still alive before flying off? And 4.
I
Why
guess
are the
Queen wasn't
Wakandans
enough.
trying CPR and not using some of that bullshit vibranium that can do literally anything?
I
Word.
don't know.
We then see the Queen's funeral, which is only about 30 seconds long before moving on to the next scene. Well, I guess
she
fuck
wasn't
the
that
Queen
important,
then. Remember when Namor
The
gave
mother.
away his
Hold up.
mother's
Hold
bracelet?
up. I
The
thought
last
y'all
thing.
were about. Hold on. I thought y'all were about that feminism, son. The mother of the superhero that y'all are mourning about. 30 seconds. No big dance or anything for the Queen. I haven't seen the movie, so maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe just showing a clip. But if it was 30 seconds, I will. How long was that? How long was T'Challa's funeral? So the mother of Black Panther, and she went down. She went out way how we expected. Nah. Okay, carrying on.
He has from her to Shuri for no reason. Well, it turns out that the bracelet is just the thing she needs to complete the flower and give her Black Panther powers.
Fuck off.
She goes
Right?
into a dream and bumps into Killmonger, where he gives a shit we're not so different you and I speech, which doesn't make any sense, and then she goes on to become Black Panther.
Oh god, I'm so bored!
So after learning absolutely nothing from the fight against the Atlanteans,
Holy shit! I just forgot to point out another Disney trope. I totally forgot. Killing off the parents. Like, I wonder when Angela Bassett made us think about it. I wonder if the director, is Ryan Coogler is his name? I wonder if he was told he had to do that, or if it was really a decision he made for the story. Doubt it. He was told. Disney was like, "Nah, you gotta kill her off. Like, who you think we work for, yo? We kill parents. What you mean? No parent is safe. We need all our heroes are orphans. What? He could have said it like that to her, so she was like, "Oh no, it's for the story." Yeah. Why do you have to kill the queen? Oh my god. Why isn't it done?
They take a submarine and fight Namor in the ocean, where the seamen are at their strongest. We then have a big, awful CGI battle, and they lock Namor in a sauna, but he stabs through the floor.
Like, I get angry at that, like, for real, because come on, yo. You did not have to do that. You did not. First of all, there's no excuse for Disney to make anything look that bad, right? And secondly, remember, to use his terms, poison, right? Riri's comic books were poison. They weren't making any money at all. She's in this movie. She had no fans. No fans. When I say no fans, I mean general here, because there's less people who actually bought the comics who enjoy. So this is not business. This is not business. You do not want money. You are answering to the CIA. That's what you're doing. This is something to skew the minds of the masses, to keep them thinking a certain way about situations and people and things. That's what's going on, because there is no other explanation for this shit that's draining your money. This is I'm gonna go here, yo. This is Disney. Okay? This is Disney. They are friends with a certain group. He would back in the day. Remember, his best friend was Werner von Braun, head of NASA. Remember, they rubbed shoulders. They worked together closely. You see some early Disney animations. You seen what was going on, all that racist shit that was going on in that with Mickey and the blackface and all that. We know. Don't act like you don't know. You know. So, with this, oh my God, this is, and the Lord wept.
Easily and blows up the ship.
I know what's going on here. You've all become idiots.
Namor then stabs Shuri right through the torso, which doesn't hurt her at all. She even does a flip over him, so she could use the engines of a completely destroyed ship that shouldn't be working, and burns him. Shuri decides not to kill Namor, and because of this, he decides not to invade the surface world, and everyone else just stops fighting. What the fuck was the point in even going to war if you were going to give up this easily? So after the world's shittest war was over, the movie ends with Martin Freeman being found out as traitor and arrested, but he is rescued by Michonne, who makes one last racial slur by calling him a colonizer.
Fuck
off. And that's the end of the movie. This was nearly 3 hours and fuck all happens. This was painfully bad to watch and is a complete waste of time, which is a perfect way to cap off Phase 4 of Marvel, with Spider-Man being the only good thing to come out of Marvel. Every other product, be it TV or movie, has been complete dog shit. And from the things I've been hearing about Blade, Phase 5 might be even worse. So yeah, that was Wakanda Forever, an atrocious movie that I never thought would end, and was fucking glad when it did. Don't even bother to hate watch it. Diarrhea is more fun than this shit.
I won't. You don't have to worry about that. I'm not bothering, yo. I was at least going to hate watch it somewhere or the other through streaming or something, right? But now I'm like, I'm not even gonna bother. You see this shit? That's I'm glad I had my hours held for something else. That was insane, yo. Is that bad? I thought at least a re-report, like I knew it was gonna be. I didn't know it was gonna be like that. I didn't know the writers were gonna be fucking things up. I didn't know they were gonna lose all that logic, especially with how the first movie was. The first movie didn't have all this shit that didn't make sense. This one, like, there's usually sequels do, but It's not just the lack of Black Panther, yo. This was shit. Don't tell me. Yeah, I dare you to tell me something else. Okay, I dare you. Defend this movie, please, with everything you know here. And if you want to say something based on the title, don't bother, yo, because I'm going to call you out. Don't do it. Because you got to watch this whole thing I just presented and then come to me and with any hate. Okay? Because there's no explanation for the fuckery that was just seen. I'm so glad I didn't watch this movie. And now I'm more scared to watch Ant-Man. And that's what I'm looking forward to, yo. But I'll bite the bullet on that one. I'll take the chance. Because I just... I'll take the chance. I'll bite the bullet. I'll avoid videos like this. I just want something good. After this, it's pretty much over, yo. I think it's pretty much over. I don't think they're gonna do better, unless probably the next Spider-Man. I'm not talking about Miles Morales. He's not Spider-Man. I'm talking about legit Peter Parker, Spider-Man. When those come out, hopefully Andrew Garfield comes out. That'll be the only Marvel I'll be into at that point, because that was insane. All right, man. Tell me what you thought. I'm open, yo. I can't imagine anybody trying to justify this. So it's just gonna be shit talkers on these comments. So yeah, comment down below. Make sure you subscribe, share, and check out my other platforms. Okay, I'm on Rumble. I'm on BitChute. I'm also on Patreon. So show some love through Patreon for the price of pie. And you get more exclusive things, more truther things, and links and information and some inside stuff of my life. You know, that's cool. And yeah, man. So yo, this was funny. This was hilarious, yo. This is a comedy. That's what. If you want to watch this movie, watch it knowing this is a comedy. Don't take it serious, like these wokies are. So yeah, that's it. See you in the next one. Cheers.